I'm Jacqueline Kroft, and I was born in Liverpool, England, and I'm a musician. My idea of perfect happiness is to see other people really happy. My greatest fear is to see people being hurt, and especially by other people for no reason. The people I most admire living at the moment are old people. I think they're totally neglected in our society, and they have so much wisdom and so much to offer, and we're short-changing ourselves. The characteristic I dislike the most in myself is my forgetfulness. And it's really bad, I tell you. And I would like to change that. The characteristic I most dislike in other people, and I hate to see it, is unkindness. It's so unnecessary, and I think most unkindness comes today from people being too busy. And I think there's much more time in a day to relax and pay attention to each other, because we are what counts. Not just human beings, but the whole sort of living force. I think the most excessive thing I have in my life is that I try to squeeze out every second of every day. I just think I don't want to lose these moments, and I am sort of obsessive about trying to do that. What I consider the most overrated virtue is, it seems to be that when somebody's successful, they make a certain amount of money. It's not about money, it's about like who you are. If you love your work, then the work's going to be the best. Everyone wants so much money, and you don't need that much money. So I think that's overrated, money. What challenges me the most professionally is that I need in myself to be the best I can be at all times, and I try to pay attention to every moment of my professional career to give the most honest representation of the music that I'm playing or recording at that time. And that's challenging because I'm constantly drawn back to finding out who I am and making sure that I'm always at one with myself. I feel safe and secure when we're making dinner at our house, and my husband, Jeffrey, turns the music on some beautiful classical station, and we're listening to, sometimes it's the Proms, which is really fun to listen to, and it's loud. We have it on all the radio, it's really loud, and Jeffrey's cooking some exotic dish because he's a really good cook, and he puts me to shame. And my son's sort of on the floor doing his homework, and the dog's doing, and it's just kind of, oh, it's such a comfort zone. I love that. My most treasured possession, believe it or not, is a seed. It's a little seed, it's about that big, and you can open the top. It's like the top has a little elephant made out of ivory, and you pull the elephant up, and inside there's 1,000 little ivory elephants. And so I wrote a song about that. The lowest depth of despair in the world for me is this constant warfare situation. I mean, how can we rationalize blowing the arms and legs and killing children? It breaks my heart. How can we stop it? We have to be working together on this. The lowest despair for me in my personal life is when I'm not attentive to my family, my friends. If I miss something that they need, then I feel bad about that too. That gives me despair. I mean, I just wish I could do everything, because I love dancing, I love photography, I love painting. And that's why I want to have more time in a day to do everything. But I think the thing I really need the most is organizational skills and a good memory. My favorite distraction is nature, because I live in England at the moment, in the country most of the time, and I have a tendency to walk from the house to the studio, and I sort of get lost on the way to the studio just for a quick walk through the garden. In England, you do have fairies in the garden. I have to tell you these, because it's part of the magic of the English countryside, and nature just is such a relief. I perceive that my most obvious characteristic is that people don't take me very seriously when they first meet me. They think I'm a bit of a dipstick, but then I fool them later. I'm the happiest when I'm with my friends and family, and it's so nice to meet people who are on the same wavelength as you, and that you can spend time with them. I really like that. If I was to choose anywhere in the world to live, it's a very hard question, this, because there are so many wonderful places to live in the world. Like, I love New York, I love Toronto, I love London, I love Paris, but I would like to live in Italy because they make great food, they're lots of fun to speak to, they never get a job done, the scenery is gorgeous, and they have lovely architecture and lovely art, and there's a sort of ambience in Italy. I think there's the sirens in the ocean, it all sort of adds up to a nice place to live. I was very lucky as a child because my mother had a beautiful voice. She'd sing in the kitchen all the time. And she found an opera teacher, and the opera teacher fell in love with my mother because she did have the most natural voice. And she was singing Puccini in the kitchen and Gershwin, and it was such a nice thing to come in with a basic idea of food and voice. And she was my first inspiration. And her opera teacher had a great friend who was a concert pianist, and he taught me piano. So it was just a nice start. I'm very funny about, if I was to receive an award and why, I have to say honestly, I really don't believe in awards. Because every time somebody wins an award, there's like the equal amount of people, or 10 people, or 100 people who've done a better job than that person who wins the award. And like, for example, Hollywood movies that win Oscar awards. In history, it's the ones that didn't win the awards that are the real winners and that everyone listens to and watches later. If I could change the world, I think I would ask what I think a lot of people on this planet would like to ask. Well, first of all, if you could listen to your public, if the parliaments and governments would listen to what the people, this democratic society would listen to the people and not have any wars. Why can't we get along, and why do we have to mutilate each other? Like, where is this coming from? I know we're sort of, a lot of people are descended from the Genghis Khan tribe, but like, we could sort of relearn, couldn't we? I have to say that my present state of mind is euphoric. I can't believe that life has so much to offer and it can be so much fun just doing what I've always wanted to do, and that's play music and meet other musicians to play with. That's fun. I've got a couple of mottos. One is, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That is like a really big thing for me. And another is that if I think it, I must do it.